following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Get In Loser. We're starting a podcast. You know who it is. It's your boy, Cheetah.
You fucking took my opener, bitch. This is your boy, Chop.
Why has it got to be yours?
That's my fucking week.
So, Yoder doesn't open on his weeks.
He never opens up for his week.
Exactly. How was they supposed to know you're opening when you're whispering to Tosh? You didn't tell her.
I did. I said, hey,
No, you didn't.
yeah,
You literally did not
hey,
say that.
camera on me first.
No, you did not say that, actually.
Yeah, I did.
I don't believe you did.
Yeah, I believe everything.
It's your boy Yoder.
Damn, Yoder. Took you 3 hours to say your name?
Short, one of those short stories long.
Oh, well, back again. What's up, boys? How's life?
Yeah, that's
How
all
are
right.
things?
You guys should have. One of you guys should have came to the concert.
Probably not.
What concert was that again?
Silver Steam, all time. Not all time. No, store of the year.
And where was the venue?
Outer Harbor.
Oh, how was it?
Fantastic. I'm in the works of talking to this guest coming on.
Uh-huh.
He, a band. He's from Rochester, but he's from Elmira. And we might go October because his new stuff will be dropping soon.
With your track record, we won't hold our breath.
Hey, I was talking to the guy.
No.
Watch the collab's gonna be fucking epic.
What kind of music?
Like post-hardcore. Kinda. That's weird. I can't really put a genre what Silver Steam is. They seem like they're pop punk, but they're not. But they go a little heavier. But they're just like a bunch of dads on stage just rocking the hell out.
Nice.
And the bass player from Silver Steam, he had a Bills, you know that Grateful Dead Bills head?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He had that on with a Boy Scout shirt on. Then he changed his outfit. He had the overall Zubas.
Hell yeah. Sounds pretty sick.
Hell yeah. Dude, but we need to find a way to get like our names on QR codes. We're like, oh.
Yoder was literally just saying this the other
Yeah,
day.
but like for us to transition through business, it's like, oh, do you want to listen to a good podcast, or you want to listen to three guys just random about random shit? You can get the guy in the middle. This is the referee between the two of us. You scan his QR code and follow, and all our socials will be up there.
Yeah, we don't want a QR code because we don't know fucking who knows what kind of people you'll be giving it out to.
Hey,
People like, yo, come be a guest. A guy will show up and be a guy who's been living in the fucking box for 3 months or something.
or he lives,
Be some fucking random guy you met at 7-Eleven.
or he lives
By the sea.
down the river. I live in the van down the river.
Down by the river.
Down by the river. Yo, how awesome will that be if Matt Foley could be? I know Matt Foley cannot be real, but how awesome
Matt
would
Foley is real. It was based off a real person that Chris Farley went to college with, who's now a priest.
What the fuck?
None of you guys watched the documentary, man? I'm Chris Farley.
Yeah, I watched it.
I'm not the one.
Talks about it in there. Yeah, well, I'm putting you in there, Yoder.
I'm leaving.
People tell me I'm too biased. People tell me I'm mean to Chop, so I gotta be mean to both of you now.
Yo,
Pass it off.
how about we be his ass? We're older than him.
You're my angel. Remember that.
He said that now because he goes like, hey man, that's not cool.
Until Yoder goes to tell us a story and it takes 3 hours. Then I'll get mad at him too. You know. It's alright, it happens. You guys hyped for the Emerge-a-thon or what?
Mm-hmm.
The Merge-a-thon is August 22nd to the 23rd from 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. We will show our links about it, and it goes to a good cause. Cheetah, hit him with the cause. I don't know what the cause is.
I don't remember what the cause is either. City missions, I think, something like that.
What, city missions this year?
I don't know. It's something like that, isn't it?
Oh no! Don't quote us. We will have the QR
Usually
code.
we have a flyer. I don't have. There's not a flyer yet, so I don't know.
Well, it should have been a flyer, but we're gonna make a flyer on the way. And that man Cheetah, he will be here for 24 hours. He says. Me and Yoda put a bet on it. He won't.
I'll take both days off, man. I'm here.
Yo, he won't.
Oh shit! I can't stay till 9 a.m. Sunday. I go breakfast.
You could. You fuck breakfast. You
I ain't missing breakfast, man. What are you nuts?
you could miss breakfast
I love breakfast.
because you're a round figure and you.
Look who's talking.
Hey, I'm.
Fatter than me.
I ain't fat. I'm Pleasure Plum over here.
Uh-huh.
Pleasure plum.
That wristwatch is begging for air right now, brother.
Now the
Nothing.
wristwatch is calm.
You get it on the last ribbon on there.
No, I don't got a last ribbon. It's a mecha fiber one. It's
Mhm.
metal ones. Where's your watch at, sucker?
I don't wear it all the time.
Psst, weak.
I only wear it when I'm at
Yoda.
work.
You wear your watch all the time?
When I'm up, yeah.
Well, you guys are lame, so.
I wear it for health reasons.
Hey,
I don't need my watch all the time. I only need it when I'm
hey,
at work,
Cheetah.
so I don't get in trouble.
Cheetah, I'm gonna. I think I renamed my name. And you guys, no, I'm keeping that name. Biajon there, done that. I was gonna change it to Big Back Sauce.
What are you talking about? I didn't even know you changed your name.
Yeah, Biajon.
Yoder, are you gonna change your name, dude, to like an actual like football team name, or just gonna be Yoder? Yoder's awesome team.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I gotta look at it.
Mine's the best so far.
When's the draft?
2:00 on the 30th. Yo, before we continue on with anything,
Mine's
can
the
you
best
go
so
into
far.
the settings and set that shit for 60 seconds?
Bijan there done that?
Yeah.
What a fucking idiot.
Yo, can you,
Yeah, remind me at the end of this, after this is over.
Because 90 seconds, like no offense for like some of these newcomers
Oh,
you
wait,
got
I'll do it
playing,
right now.
they would take the whole 90 seconds. I got another draft at 7:00. Yo, it's it's draft season when you got two drafts in one day, a draft this Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not ready for it
Why not?
Hey,
because unfortunately that means the white stuff is coming.
cocaine?
The what? Cocaine?
What? No, we don't do that, children. We don't do cocaine. We
Starts
we
with
don't.
S.
Why is it?
It ends in W.
You act like fucking any children are ever gonna watch this pod.
Dude, if any children watch this about parents, you're doing an awesome job.
How do you do it? How do you change the time? It doesn't let me.
Let me look at it. Keep up that on your laptop at the end. I can see
I don't
better.
have it on my laptop.
Huh?
I only have it on my phone.
You should have it on your laptop.
I'm not logged into it on my laptop, man. Stop asking me questions.
But anyway, how was your week so far, Yoda?
It was good. Sunday I was doing research for a future pod, and
What did you say, someday? What did
Sunday.
you say, or did you say Sunday?
Sunday.
Oh, my bad. I'm not
I
paying
do
attention.
one on
Don't listen to me.
Sunday.
Don't
I was
listen to anything I
doing
say.
research for a future pod, and I stopped at was taking pictures by our old studio. There's a roadside memorial, and then I was taking pictures. The father came out and started talking to me, and
Was it sad
yes,
when he talked to you?
because a lot of these roadside memorials, there's obviously they're sad because they're roadside memorial. When you hear the stories behind them, sometimes you're not ready. Because I had thought maybe she was killed in a traffic accident, but as it turns out, her name was Gabby, last name Shawcroft, and she died June 11th of 21. Her father said that she got involved in drugs, started with pot, and then escalated. And she fell. She got into a gang in the falls here, and they were in. They were talking again, and the daughter was going to leave the gang. The night before that, she was going to leave the gang and come home. She was murdered, and you're not ready for that. And I try not to tear up because I don't want, gotta be a tough guy.
Yo, I bet when you drop this when we do this episode, make sure we have different kinds of Kleenexes for us.
Yeah, because they're all sad. It's not.
But yeah, one before you continue on, the gang life. Never was part of it, but there's three ways. There's three ways: body bag, jail, or you move away.
They were going to pick her up the following day, but obviously they couldn't pick her up. Well, they didn't pick her up. And they still haven't caught the people that have done it.
Yo, 'cause no one ain't on the street snitching.
So we sat there for a good half an hour. I told him about that I do a podcast. I said, this might sound strange. I don't know if you have a lot of people taking pictures. And I said, I'm doing a feature episode about roadside memorials. And then we were talking about the ones in the area. There's one on Twin City Highway. There's a couple on Twin City Highway. And there's one on, he told me one on River Road to go to. A kid was killed on a motorcycle, and there's a roadside memorial. And if you look on the road on River Road, there's burnout marks. That's because on the day that he had gotten to the accident, people go there to do burnouts in memory of him, because he was an avid car buff.
That's pretty cool.
So
That's crazy. What a chance encounter, bro. You're going to do that, and then you end up hearing the exact story from the dead. That's cool, man, because a lot, you know what I mean? A lot of roadside memorials, you kind of just got to take the information they give you kind of at face value, because you don't really know. But, like, to be able to see one like that and be able to hear the story behind the girl, that's pretty cool, man. Maybe that's what'll convince. Maybe that's to be the thing that lights the fire on her ass. Finally, get business cards. That would have been a perfect time to give that guy a business card.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, if you ever want to tell your daughter's story, you know what I mean? Come on.
yeah, because I'd like to get Keel on too, because Keel's got a story to tell about what he went through.
You told me Jeff?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know he moved down to North Carolina.
No, I did not know. Because he, oops, he did a live he did a live stream on Facebook, and the anniversary of the fire, and apparently the fire department, when they did the investigation, said the fire started inside the home, that Jeff's family started the fire, but never charged him with arson. And he was mad at the fire department and the city and the mayor. But he did say during the stream that he left Niagara Falls, but I didn't know he left the state.
Yeah, because he told me either his wife had an opportunity down in North Carolina, but he did came out and visited like last couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's when the stream was. That's when the anniversary was. And that was hard for him too, because he had what they call it, survivor's guilt. He went through, because he said the father wouldn't jump, and they couldn't convince him to jump, and he succumbed to smoke and the fire. So in fact, they have a roadside memorial outside the house that I want to go take a picture of too.
There's one in Hamburg like before you get to the Hamburg Fairgrounds area. There's one right there.
Really? I'll go there. Because as the guy from work says that they're having Senior Citizen Day, that I need to go because I'm a senior citizen.
Jesus.
He goes, Yoda, you're a senior citizen. Are you going on Wednesday?
I was like, yeah, I'll be there.
I said, yeah, I got to start taking advantage of my discounts.
Are you really a senior citizen?
Yeah, I'll be 57 in September.
Oh, yeah, senior citizen is like 55.
Yeah. The big 6-0 could be here before you know it.
Nice. Thank you guys for talking so much. I was able to finish my fatty stick.
Isn't that good?
That one's pretty good. I love those things. Why
I
are they so
love-
fucking expensive?
I don't know. That's why I only got one.
Ridiculous.
I still remember that day that we went to the. It was $30 for 2 slices of pizza.
I went in there the other day. Dude, it don't even feel like the same place.
No, it's not.
The whole aura is off. Like, it don't even feel like. It just feels like a fucking ghetto 7-Eleven now.
Our buddy, he works at Mr. M's now.
Yeah.
The cook.
The homie. Yeah, so.
How was your week?
Oh, thanks for asking.
Dickhead.
It was good. You know, much going on. It's been a little over a week since I lost my girl. Still sucks.
I don't know if she wasn't
Oh.
here last week.
I don't know. You haven't been here in a while, intern. What was your name again? Cully?
That's fine.
Callie.
Callie, she's gonna whoop your ass. Hey,
I was
20,
close.
hey,
I
Callie,
knew it on the way here, and then I forgot.
Callie, $20, whoop his ass. I got cash right now for it. If you do
I remember when I got Callie.
If you
remember.
do
Gotta
it,
think of
if you do it right,
stage.
I'll give you 30.
I won't forget now. But yeah, you haven't been here in a while. Unfortunately, last Monday I lost my cat. So yeah, it's been a little bit over a week now. It sucks, man. I still wake up every day thinking I'm gonna see her. The hardest part's still coming home from work.
Yeah.
Cause she'd literally always be right there at the door when I'd come home. Like I could hear her meowing through the door when I'd walk up. That part fucking sucks, but you know I'm try not to sulk around and let it bother me. But just like with that happening, and then like one of the guys that works on vacation, so whenever he goes on vacation, I have to do his job on top of my job. So I just like this past week, I've just been feeling so fucking burnt out.
Yeah, no, it's
Like I just, you know what I mean? Like I'm at work, I'm in a bad mood when I'm there, just because I'm, you know what I mean? Not even just like because of anything in particular. I'm just like, I need a fucking break. You know what I mean? Just sucks. But you know, you gotta keep powering through. Some girl at work the other day was asking me about like I was telling her about my cat and all this other shit, and she's like, oh yeah, she's like, but you know, she's like, you're strong, you just gotta get through it. And I said, ain't that that's the American way right there. I said, you work a job you hate till you're too old to work anymore. I said, you deal with all the punches life throws you, and you just keep going, trying to fight back the idea that you want to put in your mouth. I said, ain't that the American way? But yeah, it hasn't been fun, that's for sure. So I haven't really been doing anything except for sulking around, which I just said I wasn't trying to do, but I have been doing. It is hard, dude. It sucks. Especially now, because you know what I mean? Now I'm doing 2 jobs at work every day, so I come home, I'm fucking exhausted. I don't want to do anything. So I literally just lay there and I fucking sink into my bed. Or I watch fucking movies. The only thing that still brings me joy.
Mm-hmm.
At least I always have movies. And then I met this girl like 2 days or like literally the next day after my cat passed. I met this girl, and we were hitting it off so well. It was going great. And I'm like, dude, what if this was like my cat, like sending me someone, you know? She's like, oh, you're not. I left because I knew that this person was coming, so you're going to be okay. Right? That's how I was feeling. I even told her that because I'm like, this is like, I said, we're like really hitting it off. Like,
Good
this is
for
going
shis.
extremely well.
Buddha.
And I was like, maybe that's what this is, right? Yeah, I was fucking wrong. That was not what that was at all. Because it got bad really fast. She was just...
Explain. Bad?
I don't want to say the reason why she gave me behind why she's crazy, but she's crazy. She was crazy. She literally, the one night, she'd like text me. She's like, "Oh, I'm going to bed," and I was like, I wasn't working the next day, or it was like a Saturday, I think, and I wasn't working Sunday, so I stayed up with my buddies to play on this game for a little bit. Just listen. we were talking, and she's like, "Oh, I'm going to bed," and I was like, "Okay, cool." I said, "I'm probably gonna be up for another hour, so I'm on the game with my buddies." I said, "But have a good night. I hope you sleep well." Right? And like 30 minutes prior to her telling me she was going to bed, I posted a meme on Facebook. A meme. Okay. Let me tell you this right now. We had never met face to face yet. And I had posted this meme that said, "Bitches love me for my deep yearning, my deep yearning disguised as boyish mischief." That's all the meme said. Nothing else. That was it. She comments on it. I don't think nothing of it. I think it's just like a joke. She posts like the face palm emoji. So I'm like thinking, oh, she's just like, like, oh, you're dumb. You know what I mean? Or something, right? And I'm like, okay, I don't think nothing of it. She texts me. And she's like, "Have fun entertaining your other girlfriends." And I'm like, bro. And I'm like, I at this point, I think she's joking with me. You know what I mean? Because she kept making a point to tell me she was crazy. So I thought she meant it as in like a joking way. Like, some girls were like, "Oh, I'm crazy, just so you know what I mean?" So I'm like laughing it off, and I'm like, "Yeah, whatever you say." I said, "Go to bed." And she says it again. And I'm like, "Dude, what are you talking about?" I said, "Don't start this right now." And she's like, "I just started it." And I'm like, "Bro," I was like, "I'm not doing this with you." I said, "So either go to bed or you're not going to get a response from me." I said, "Because I'm not going to fight with you over something." I said, "Over a fucking meme." Right? So then she said something again about like she's just like giving me like one word answers, and I'm like, all right. I said, "I'm not trying to be a dick." I said, "But I don't have multiple." I said, "I don't even have a girlfriend." I said, "So I definitely wouldn't have multiple girlfriends." I said, "So you literally have nothing to worry about." Even though at this point I shouldn't even be saying that because it's, you know what I mean? Right. We're not even together, but I just said it to put her to get her to stop. And then she was like, "Fine." And I'm like, "Okay, well, good night. Have a good night. Sleep well." And she texts me back again. She's like, "Just say you don't have multiple girlfriends." And I'm like, "Bro, I don't. Like, what are you talking about? Why do I have to say this right now when I literally don't?"
Right.
So it was just, and then like, what was it? I forgot what day it was. I came home from work one day and I was just in a bad mood. So I like texted her. I'm like, "Hey, I'm probably not gonna talk to you for the rest of the day because I'm in a bad mood. I kind of just want to be in my space and just, I'm probably gonna shut my phone off and just kind of just be in my own zone." She periodically texts me throughout the day. Like, "Oh, I hope you're okay. I'm here for you." And I didn't answer because I'm like, I already told you I probably wasn't going to answer. You know what I mean? But like I told you, it was nothing personal. I'm just kind of wanted to be in my zone. She periodically texts me. And then near the end of the night gets mad because I didn't text her back. And I'm like, well, first of all, I already told you that I wasn't going to text you back because I wanted to be in my zone. And she's like, "Well, I want to be here for you." And I said, "Well, the best way for you to be here for me right now is to leave me alone."
Right.
Because I want, you know what I mean? That's just kind of how I deal with shit. I kind of just need to be by myself. So she started a fight about that, and then I was just like, I couldn't do it. So the other day I told her, I said, "Listen," I was like, "No offense to you or anything." I said, "But I don't think this is going to work out. I'm sorry." And she just did not handle that well either. So it was just fucking.
Now, was she?
Well, does she listen to our shit?
No, she probably won't now.
Is she local?
Yeah, she lived here in the Falls, and she was like cool with the no driving thing, like immediately. Because like as soon as I said it to her, her first response was, "Well, I drive." So I'm like, "Yo, me and this girl's fucking perfect. We're about to hit it off like
But
crazy."
Yoda.
But
I looked at his post. That post is funny.
Bro, it wasn't even that bad.
It wasn't about like you getting bitches.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean women. Sorry.
And I told her, I'm like,
I forgot the intern still here.
She don't give a shit. She's seen in one of our episodes before. She knows by now.
No, she's like, what the fuck is these guys talking about?
She knows. She knows.
All right, I'll give you $10 each.
Yeah, she's met boys. See, she knows.
But yeah,
We ain't much different than each other.
but I looked at her profile. She's Puerto Rican. That's your first mistake, homie. Puerto Rican.
You said it, not me. See? Yeah, cut it off there. Well, that's it. That's all you need to say about her. We're not gonna say anymore.
No, I'm just saying.
Thanks a lot. You just probably wiped out half our fan base right there.
You
by
mean
trying to talk bad about Puerto Ricans.
Oh, I
We
have
love
no
the
problem
Puerto
with
Rican community, by the way. Me and Yoder, we love them,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I love them.
I
Just
love
so
them
you
too.
know. No, not you.
Daddy
You're over
Yankee.
see why there's a cushion between you?
They
Because
support
we're cut off
USPS.
from you.
No, because it's Daddy Yankee.
No, we're gonna have to see.
Wasn't it for them,
A couple
I
of
wouldn't
years
have
from
a
now,
job.
we're gonna have to put out a statement saying that we formally let Chop go because of his racist remarks. It's gonna happen. Watch. It's gonna come out. It's gonna surface. And screw us. But yeah. Anyways, I mean, she's not a bad girl. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna sit here and tear somebody down because she was cool. Just it's not gonna work. You know what I mean? I'm just. Plus, I feel like you know what I mean. I feel like there's just so much shit going on right now that I kind of just it was kind of selfish to try and talk to somebody because I'm obviously not in the best place.
Correct.
But I will admit, those first couple of days, she really helped me get through it, and I really appreciate that. You know, she was definitely very nice to me, and she was, oh shit, told me a lot. You know, helped me definitely get through probably was the hardest days of it all. So shout out to her for sure. But that's the one that made her mad. Can you imagine the one I was gonna post that day and I didn't? I decided not to instead. The other one I was gonna post was it was like a meme with a dude talking to his girlfriend that said, "Babe, I only asked where the hose at so I can make sure I avoid that area." That was the one I was originally gonna post, but I decided not to. I was like, no, I'll post this one instead. It's one of my favorite memes, dude. The guy, it's like, oh, I only posted where the hose at so I can avoid that area. It's one of my favorite ones. Yeah, I swear to God, we're not terrible dudes, okay? We're not pieces of shit. We just acted. We just acted on our pod. It's part of the persona. Off the pod, we like save kittens from fires and shit. See? Yeah. We save turtles out of the middle of the road and stuff.
Cats.
Yeah, cats. Yeah. All right, let's get into what we're really here for before one of us ends up saying something even dumber than we've already said. Yeah, well, can always go down even more. So, Drop, why don't you hit him one? Tell him what we're getting into today.
Yo, you know how you guys been saying you gotta do mythical creatures. We're at the point of mythical creatures, or we gotta take like 5 mythical creatures to do one episode. I was like, okay, let me just dip my toes in the shrunk toes. Let me just dip my toes into Greek mythology. That's a whole nother can of worms. I'm not like doing like the Greek gods and goddesses. And I was like, okay, I'm just looking. I looked up this guy named
Typhon.
Typhon. Let me just pull Typhon. It's just weird how like Greek wording. It'd be like Typhon, but it's Typhon. Typhon is a deadly sand giant and monster from Greek mythology, the son of Giga, the Earth, and whoever.
Why even attempting to do it when you know I'm just kind of doing it for you?
I just want to he had who had an epic war against Zeus in the Olympic gods. Pretty much, he's the father of all monsters of Greek mythology.
All right, well, let's get into the actual birth of this guy, because we all know, if you've been watching this episode long enough, you know Chop. He's a good dude, but we know his reading level's pretty low down there, so I'll be taking over the reins. And you know Chop will chime in here and there with his regular BS like he always does. But
or like how you said it, I'm a loose cannon coming to these words. You don't know what I'm gonna say.
Pretty much. Okay, so according to Hesad's poem, which is circa 7th to 8th century BC, Typhon was the son of Gaia, Mother Earth, and Tartus. When Zeus had driven the Titans from heaven, huge Earth bore her youngest son Typhon of the love of Tartus by the aid of golden Aphrodite. The mythographer Apollodorus adds that Gaia bore Typhon in anger at the gods for the destruction of her offspring, the giants. Numerous other sources mention Typhon as being the offspring of Gaia or simply earthborn, with no mention of Tartus. However, according to the Homeric hymn to Apollo, Typhon was a child of Hera alone. Hera, angry at Zeus for having given birth to Athena by himself, prayed to Gaia, Uranus, and the Titans to give her a son stronger than Zeus, then slapped the ground and became pregnant. Dude, Greek mythology is so weird, bro. I remember reading one time in high school. I was reading something about Greek mythology. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody knows more than me, but I remember reading something one time that like Zeus like turned into the rain and got someone pregnant or something.
No, that was Poseidon.
Oh, Poseidon.
That was actually really true.
That's
And
crazy shit, dude.
That's another little subject I want to do. Now I'm doing Greek mythology
Poseidon,
now.
my boy, dude. That's my homie. I love him.
Now
Except for that whole rain rape thing.
But now I'm doing get into the Greek mythology more in depth. We like one episode I want to talk about demigods and talk about the three powerful gods.
Okay, Percy Jackson, calm down over there.
Zeus,
Dude,
Poseidon.
if we're gonna start talking about fucking demigods, that should be our first reaction. Shit, we should watch the Percy Jackson show.
I'll be done watching it again.
You know the Percy Jackson shows? Based off like Perseus, son of Poseidon.
Is that the Percy Jackson and the
No, that was the
wardrobe-
movies.
Wardrobe thieves? Or
No,
wardrobe
the movies
prince?
were very inaccurate to the books. The show is closer to the books.
I didn't make another
The
season.
show was fantastic, actually. The show was really good.
I didn't make another season.
Yeah, it comes out this year, in like October or something.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so Hera gave the infant Typhon to the serpent Python. Nice. To raise. And Typhon grew up to become a great bane to the mortals. Several sources locate Typhon's birth and dwelling place as Sicilia, and in particular, the region in the vicinity of the ancient Sicilian coastal city Corycus, which would be modern-day Kizkalazi, Turkey. The poet Pindar
Turkey.
calls Typhon Sicilian and says that Typhon was born in Sicilia and nurtured in the famous Sicilian cave, an apparent allusion to the Corcyraean cave in Turkey. In Aeschylus's Prometheus Bond, Typhon is called the dweller of the Sicilian caves, and both Apollodorus and the poet Nonnus have Typhon born in Sicilia. The P. Scolia Iliad 2.783, preserving the possibly Orphic tradition, has Typhon born in Sicilia as the offspring of Cronus. Gaia, angry at the destruction of the giants, slanders Zeus to Hera, so Hera goes to Cronus, the father of her and Zeus, whom Zeus had overthrown, and Kronos gives Hera 2 eggs smeared with his own semen. Nice. Telling her to bury them underground, and that from them would be born one who would overthrow Zeus. Hera, angry at Zeus, buries the eggs in Sicilia. Under Ahriman, when Typhon is born, Hera, now reconciled with Zeus, informs him.
That was just crazy. If you really actually break it down, Greek mythology in school, we got the gods and goddesses, but they're pretty fucked up. Dude takes his baby making skills, put it in the eggs of the woman or something, and bury it. Like, slam.
They have, yeah, that's the one thing they teach you in high school too. Very early on, when they're teaching like Greek mythology and shit, they say very early on you're gonna realize that a lot of them are actually like huge pieces of shit. You know what I mean? Like a lot of them were very like self-centered and like very believe they're above everyone else type of shit.
But yeah,
Especially Zeus.
was it in the movie where Perseus went in there and where all the big gods were at?
Yeah, it's like Zeus's panel, so it's like Zeus, Athena, Poseidon, a couple other ones. Hermes, I think maybe.
Is Hermes was the
He's a delivery.
he was the
messenger
secretary.
of the gods.
I think he was.
DoorDasher.
What'd you say?
I said he's a DoorDasher.
Yeah, pretty much. What'd you say?
I think Hermes is just the secretary of Zeus.
Yeah, he's the messenger god. Hence why in the second one they made him a mailman. That he runs a UPS store.
You know what's also crazy about it is the three witches, the three sisters, shared the one eyeball.
Yeah, the Fates. What are they called? Is that what they're called? Yeah, the Fates. They're in the Percy Jackson show too.
You see how much
They drive the taxi.
See how much dabbing we could get into it. We at least got
Dude, it's deep. There's a lot of shit there.
That's at least
It's always funny too, like when you hear about how Zeus really was, and then you watch like Hercules, the Disney movie, and you're like, oh my god, Zeus is such a great dude. And then you learn about the real him, and you're like, holy fuck, he was terrible.
Yo, how many times you watch Hercules in that one time?
Probably at least double digits, probably close to 20 maybe. I used to watch it just to fall asleep, but I love that movie.
You I get it, but they don't really tell because Disney want to make it kid friendly.
Yeah, well, of course they're not going to tell you. Oh, Zeus and Hera were fucking. Weren't Zeus and Hera like brother and sister or something? Technically, yeah.
Did you name your cat after Hera?
Yeah. The goddess of family. That's why I named her that, because she became my family. She was the only you know what I mean? She was like my kid, so she was like the start of my own type of family. And now she's gone, so thanks for reminding me. Now I'm gonna cry. I'm live on there. I heard we're gonna play Rochambeau during the Mergathon.
That'd be like a 3 o'clock kind of situation.
I heard we're actually gonna all pepper spray each other.
That'd be outside.
First one to fall down loses.
Just imagine if Richie really listened to this part of the episode.
We're gonna get a strange phone call tomorrow saying, "Don't come to the Mergathon." We're gonna be like, "What is that?" We're gonna get here. The doors are gonna be locked.
Yeah, that'd be kind of funny. Hey, we got cameras. We could send it to them and roll some bone and pepper spray. First person to cry loses.
According to Hesiod, what is it? Hesiod, whatever. Typhon was terrible, outrageous, and lawless. Immensely powerful, and on his own shoulders were 100 snake heads that emitted fire and every kind of noise. Strength was with his hands in all that he did, and the feet of the strong god were untiring. From his shoulders grew 100 heads of snake, a fearful dragon with dark flickering tongues, and from under the brows of his eyes and his marvelous heads flashed fire, and fire burned from his heads as he glared, and there were voices in all his dreadful heads, which uttered every kind of sound unspeakable. For at one time they made sounds that the gods understood, but at another the noise of a bull bellowing a loud and proud ungovernable fury, and at another the sound of a lion, relentless of heart, and at another sounds like whelps, wonderful to hear, and again at another he would hiss, so that the high mountains re-echoed.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. 1,000 of those motherfucking snake heads on them. And I heard he had wings.
Fucking ears itching like crazy. The Homeric hymn to Apollo describes Typhon as fell and cruel and like neither the gods nor men. 3 of Pindar's poems have Typhon as the hundred-headed, while apparently a 4th gives him only 50 heads. But 100 heads for Typhon became standard. A Chalcedian Hydria depicts Typhon as a winged humanoid from the waist up with 2 snake tails for legs below. What the fuck is this? Oh, Asclepius calls Typhon fire-breathing. For Nicander, Typhon was a monster of enormous strength and strange appearance, with many heads, hands, and wings, and with huge snake coils coming from his thighs.
Yeah, what if the dragon that we know that flies around blows fire? What if he's a spawn of Typhonius?
What dragon?
I don't know what dragons are.
So you just think every single dragon ever made was just a spawn of him?
Oh yeah.
Go fucking wait in the lobby. You're not allowed to talk anymore. Apollodorus describes Typhon as a huge winged monster whose head brushed the stars, human in form above the waist, with snake coils below and fire flashing from his eyes. In size and strength, he surpassed all the offspring of Earth. As far as the thighs, sorry, hold on. I just want to see where I was, sorry. Shit, no, I lost my spot. Oh. As far as the thighs, he was of human shape and of such prodigious bulk that he out-topped all of the mountains, and his head often brushed the stars. One of his hands reached out to the west and the other out to the east, and from them projected 100 dragons' heads. From the thighs downward he had huge coils of vipers, which when drawn out reached to his very head and emitted a loud hissing. His body was all winged, unkempt hair streamed on the wind from his head and cheeks, and fire flashed from his eyes.
Yeah, that's if you think about it, that part like back in the day, not back in the day, but when older brothers and sisters or older family members would tell stories, hey, if you don't keep it up, I get Typhon on your ass.
Uh-huh.
Yo, you know the best way to eat your ear? This way. Go.
You know the best way to shut up? By
Yeah.
shutting up.
Hey, $30 cash.
She ain't listening to you. She said you're her least favorite of the three of us. She told me that telepathically. She told me telepathically
Hey,
with her mind.
$40 cash. You can hit him. Well, that's my pizza money tonight. Never mind. That's
The most elaborate description of Typhon is found in Nanus Dian Yesikayaka. That word.
Yo, you got any work? You got any inputs?
No.
Oh, it's in Nanus's epic Greek poem. That's what it translates to. There's a buzzing in my head.
Studying.
Studying what?
I'm taking it in.
Wait. Yeah, hold on. Hey, yo.
Although I did watch Poseidon's Adventure.
Yoder's studying already with his eyes closed.
Hey, hold on. I'm Yoda. You're not by the mic. It's like, I'm studying.
He's like, I'm studying.
This is fucking boring.
Yo, you think you're gonna beat your time from last year, the Mergerthon? What time did you leave last time? Like 10:30?
Yeah,
No, you left a little earlier than that, didn't you?
No, we came at 6, right?
Yeah. What time did you leave?
6 to 4.
What time did you leave last time?
11 o'clock.
Well, 11, yeah,
Think you're
11:30.
gonna beat that time this year?
I don't know.
Or are you too old?
Excuse me. Don't forget, I work at 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, that's true. Okay, good point. You win this round.
You win this round, Alex Beck.
And it has been pointed out several times today that I'm old, so I need my beauty rest.
You'll rue the day you mess with me, Trebek.
How did that start it? How did that Sean Connery and Alex Beck?
I don't know, just as a skit. And it was just so funny they kept doing it forever. Nanus makes numerous references to Typhon's serpentine nature, giving him tangled army of snakes, snaky feet and hair. According to Nanus, Typhon was a poison-spitting viper whose every hair belched viper poison.
Wow.
And Typhon spat out showers of poison from his throat. The mountain torrents were swollen as the mountain showered fountains from the viperish bristles of his high head. and the water snakes of the mountain's viperish feet crawl into the caverns underground, spitting poison. Following Hesiod and others, Nanos gave Typhon many heads, though untotaled. But in addition to snake heads, Nanos also gave Typhon many other animal heads, including leopards, lions, bulls, boars, bears, cattle, wolves, and dogs, which combine to make the cries of all wild beasts together, and a babble of screaming sounds. Nanos also gives Typhon legions of arms innumerable, and where Nicander had only said that Typhon had many heads, and Ovid had given Typhon 100 hands, Nanos gives Typhon 200.
You know what's crazy? It's just like it's like seeing the boogeyman. Some people have
got
different.
a different description of what he looks like.
Yeah, like the boogeyman.
It's pretty much exactly what it is.
The boogeyman of Greek mythology.
Pretty much. According to Hesiod's poem, Typhon was joined in love to Echidna, a monstrous half-woman, half-snake who bore Typhon's fierce offspring. First, according to Hesiod, there was Othrus, the two-headed dog who guarded the cattle of Grayon. Second, Cerberus, the multi-headed dog who guarded the gates of Hades. And the third, Linaran Hydra, the many-headed serpent who, when one of his heads was cut off, grew two more.
Yeah, you speaking of that before. Do you remember in the cartoon version of Hercules, where Hercules like chopped the head off and two more came out? It feels like you gotta go for the source.
He said, "Stop with the head cutting thing."
Yo, if they do a live action, I know they're gonna do it.
They're gonna ruin it like they ruined it.
No, but for Phil, you know how I wanted to cast as Phil?
Who?
Danny DeVito.
Yeah, well, if they don't got Danny DeVito, I don't want it. He's the only one who could play Phil.
You know what? You know a live action like I didn't watch. Most of half of them. Mulan. They had the
they
had the
took everything
dragon.
good out of Mulan.
Huh?
They took everything that was good about the Disney version and took it all out.
Oh, we can't. We don't want a magical dragon. What the fuck? Mushu was the man.
They also took out pretty much all of the songs, which was like one of the best parts of it.
What was it?
I'll make a man out of you.
I'll make a man out of you.
Goated song, dude. Song gets me pumped.
I could get it, like if you're doing live action, you can't really do as much as cartoons, but still. Only good one was that was Lilo and Stitch. The storyline changed a little bit, but it still was a solid movie.
Yeah. The poem next mentions an ambiguous she, which might refer to Echidna as the mother of the Chimera, a fire-breathing beast that was part lion, part goat, and had a snake-headed tail, with Typhon then being the father. The Chimera is in the Percy Jackson show. While mentioning Cerberus and other monsters as being the offspring of Echidna and Typhon, the mythographer Achilles adds that the Caucasian eagle that ate the liver of Prometheus, the mythographer Pherecydes of Athens also names Prometheus's eagle and adds Ladon, the dragon that guarded the golden apples in the garden of Hesperides. The lyric poet Lassus of Hermione adds the Sphinx. Later's authors mostly retain these offspring of Typhon and Echidna while adding others. Apollodorus, in addition to naming their offspring Thoris, the Chimera, the Caucasian eagle, Ladon, the Sphinx, also added the Nemean lion. No mother was given, and the Cromarian sow, killed by the hero Theseus. Yeah, it's one of the guys Phil trained in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Theseus, Odysseus, lots of yusses. Hyginus, in his list of offspring of Typhon, all by Echidna, retains from the above. Cerberus, the Chimera, the Sphinx, the Hydra, and Latin, and adds Gorgon, which Hygonus means the mother of Medusa, whereas Hesiod's 3 Gorgons, of which Medusa was one, were the daughters of Ceto and Propheus, the Coclarian dragon that guarded the Golden Fleece, and Scylla, the Harpies, and Hesiod, the daughters of Hamus and Oceaniad Electra. In one source are said to be the daughters of Typhon. The sea serpents, which attacked the Trojan priest Laocoon during the Trojan War, were perhaps supposed to be the progeny of Typhon and Echidna. According to Hesiod, the defeated Typhon is the father of the destructive storm winds.
It'll be freaky team one. That's crazy that Typhon is the father of Medusa.
Well, that's what some people think. They don't know.
I like Medusa. Especially when he cut her head off.
Mm-hmm.
Cut her head off. Her power still works.
Yeah, I know. That's how he won. Or that's how he survived.
Hold on, sorry.
Thunderbolts.
Yeah, the next part is the Battle of Zeus. Battle of Zeus.
Let the battle begin.
Sorry, I'm texting. Somebody was texting me. Asked me what my 2 favorite movies are. And I'm like, do you know how fucking hard that is for me? It's going to take me like 3 days.
Sandlot.
What?
Sandlot.
Yeah, but I hate giving people those.
And Goonies.
Yeah, but I like to change it up sometimes because I do have a lot of favorite movies. The Goonies is probably like the only one that's always got the top spot, but like, there's so many that are interchangeable. You know?
I have.
Do you?
Ice Harvest is always up there.
Who?
The Ice Harvest.
Oh, trash. You know, I just like to mess with you, Yoder. All right, now we're on to the real shit. We're on to the peas and carrots, as they say.
It gets hot.
That's where it gets hot and heavy. Oh, sorry. Wrong wording. So, this Typhon goes on to challenge Zeus for the rule of the cosmos. The earliest mention of Typhon and his only occurrence in Homer as a passing reference to the Iliad to Zeus striking the ground where Typhon lies defeated. Hesiod's Theogony gives the thirst account of their battle. According to Hesiod, without the quick action of Zeus, Typhon would have come to reign over mortals and immortals. For the Theogony of Zeus and Typhon meet in cataclysmic conflict. Zeus thundered hard and mightily, and the earth around resounded terribly in the wide heaven above, and the sea and ocean streams, and the nether parts of the earth. Great Olympus reeled beneath the divine feet of the king as he arose, and earth groaned thereat. And through the 2 of them heat took hold on the dark blue sea. Through the thunder and lightning, and through the fire from the monster, and the scorching winds and blazing thunderbolt, the whole earth seethed, and the sky and sea, and the long waves raged along the beaches round and about at the rush of the deathless gods. And there arose an endless shaking. Hades trembled where he rules over the dead below, and the Titans under Tartarus who live with Kronos because of the unending clamor and the fearful strife. Zeus, with his thunderbolt, easily overcomes Typhon, who is thrown down to earth in a fiery crash.
Boom.
So when Zeus had raised up his might and seized his arms, thunder and lightning lured Thunderbolt. He leaped from Olympus and struck him, and burned all the marvelous heads of the monster about him.
Wasn't it a movie? Thunder and Lightning? Sorry.
But when Zeus had conquered him and lashed him with strokes, Typhosus was hurled down, a maimed wreck, so that the huge earth groaned, and flame shot forth from the thunder-stricken lord in the dim-rugged glens of the mount. When he was smitten, a great part of huge earth was scorched by the terrible vapor and melted as tin melts when heated by men's art in channeled crucibles, or as iron, which is hardest of all things, is shortened by glowing fire in the mountain glens and melts in the divine earth through the strength of Hephaestus. Even so, then the earth melted in the glow of the blazing fire. Defeated, Typhon is cast into Tartarus by an angry Zeus. Epimendius seemingly knew a different version of this story in which Typhon enters Zeus's palace while Zeus is asleep, but Zeus awakes and kills Typhon with a thunderbolt. Pindar apparently knew a tradition which had the gods, in order to escape from Typhon, transform themselves into animals and flee to Egypt. Pindar calls Typhon the enemy of the gods and says that he was defeated by Zeus's thunderbolt. In one poem, Pindar has Typhon being held prisoner by Zeus under Etna, and another says that Typhon lies in dread Tartarus, stretched out underground between Mount Etna and Cumae. In Achilles' Prometheus bond, a hissing Typhon, his eyes flashing, withstood all the gods, but the unsleeping bolt of Zeus struck him, and he was burnt to ashes and his strength blasted from him by the lightning bolt. And now, a helpless and sprawling bulk, he lies hard by the narrows of the sea, pressed down beneath the roots of Etna, while on the topmost summit Hephaestus sits and hammers the molten ore. There one day shall burst forth 370 rivers of fire, one with savage jaws devouring the level fields of Sicily. Land, fair fruit, such boiling rage shall Typhon, although charred by the blazing lightning of Zeus, send spouting forth with hot jets of appalling fire-breathing surge.
What an epic battle.
I can just feel it.
Can you? Can you feel it?
I can feel the thunder. And then rain.
Can you feel the thunder?
Lightning, thunder.
Garth Brooks song.
Thunder Road.
Thunder Road.
You know Garth Brooks is a serial killer?
Yes.
Hey, what's up with Garth Brooks wants to that? Put a wig on and get a little soul patch. Like, hey, I'm not Garth Brooks, but I am Garth Brooks. Remember there? You remember when Garth Brooks put that wig on?
No.
No. Here's a different telling of the Battle of Zeus. This Battle of Zeus and Typhon. Typhon eventually rises against the gods, and the gods are terrified. The Olympians are normally presented as being incredibly powerful, but Typhon is so terrifying that the gods flee. In Apollodorus' later account, the gods escape to Egypt and disguise themselves as animals while Typhon pursues them. This later story became an explanation for the animal forms associated with Egyptian deities. For example, Greek writers connected Egyptian gods with animals because, according to this myth, the gods had transformed themselves into animals while fleeing Typhon. This is a Greek interpretation of Egyptian religion rather than something Egyptian religion itself necessarily claimed. So, this is where in the original story Zeus becomes kind of a hero, because while the other gods are fleeing, Zeus stays behind to confront Typhon. And like we had already read, their battle's huge. Typhon attacks him with rocks, fire, enormous strength, serpent coils. But Zeus don't let that bother him. He fights back with thunderbolts, divine strength, and his authority as king of the gods.
Like the lion.
In the original and Hesiod's version of the battle, the earth itself is scorched by the heat of the battle. And after defeating Typhon, Zeus throws him into Tartarus. They call that the essentially the earliest surviving version of their battle, but obviously there's more. There's many more versions that make it much more dramatic. The Apollodorus version. This is in Apollodorus's Bibliotheca. Zeus initially attacks Typhon with thunderbolts and a sickle. Typhon is wounded, but manages to get close. And then Typhon defeats Zeus. Typhon wraps his enormous serpentine body around Zeus and overpowers him. He then cuts the sinews from Zeus's hands and feet. Zeus becomes helpless. Typhon takes Zeus' sinews and hides them in a cave in Sicilia. A dragon-like creature named Delphine guards them. So in this version, they have it as the King of Gods losing, which is, a fucking huge deal. But here's where it gets kind of cool. Zeus, they say that Zeus isn't permanently defeated here. Because Hermes and Egopan recover Zeus' stolen sinews. They secretly return them to Zeus. Zeus gets his strength back, and then the battle begins again. And this is where Zeus goes after Typhon, but the monster flees across the world. The battle becomes almost geographically impossible to imagine. They move through regions like Sicilia, Syria, Nysa, Thrace, Mount Haemus, the Mediterranean, and Sicily. And at one point, Typhon throws an entire mountain at Zeus. Zeus responds with thunderbolts. According to this myth, when Typhon's blood spills onto Mount Haemus, the mountain receives its name from the Greek word associated with blood. The battle becomes an explanation for the features of the landscape. Another very bizarre detail from Zeus and Typhon's fight is that when Typhon reaches Mount Nysa, the Morai, the Fates, deceive him. They convince him to eat temporary perennial fruits that supposedly will restore his strength, but instead they weaken him, which gives Zeus the advantage, and Typhon continues fleeing. During their final battle at Sicily, eventually Typhon tries to escape through the Sicilian region. Zeus catches him, and Zeus does something spectacular. He throws Mount Etna on top of Typhon. According to Apollodorus, Zeus buries Typhon beneath Mount Etna, and the volcanic fires of Etna are explained as the fires produced by Typhon and Zeus's thunderbolts. And this is where one of the most famous associations with Typhon comes from. They describe Typhon as the monster under Mount Etna. The Greeks could look at a volcano erupting and imagine a gigantic monster is trapped underneath and the mountain still struggling. It's an incredibly natural mythological explanation for volcanic activity. So this is where it gets cool too, and like Typhon's history of everything. They don't just associate him with volcanoes. He also becomes associated with violent forces of nature. So
like hurricanes, typhoons, and
yeah, they say that his enormous body being trapped underneath the earth could explain earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, storms, violent winds, fire, destructive natural forces. The basic mythological idea is the earth shakes because the monster beneath it is still alive. There's an especially interesting detail in Hesiod. After Zeus defeats Typhon, Hesiod says that the powerful winds come from Typhoeus. However, Hesiod distinguished certain beneficial winds from those associated with Typhon. So Typhon isn't simply the god of the wind. Rather, he's associated with violent and destructive atmospheric forces. This is one reason his name became connected with the idea of a violent storm.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, like Chad was saying at the beginning of the episode, that he essentially through different tellings of him, he basically becomes known as the father of all monsters. Like you know what I mean? He becomes like the father of an entire dynasty of monsters because how many different like famous monsters are tied to his like lineage.
I never knew the Sphinx was his child in Egypt.
Only in some traditions, not all of them, but there's a lot of people that believe that the Sphinx was a spawn of Typhon and his love with the echidna.
Speaking of off topic, you see that Josh Allen is playing the preseason?
Mm-hmm. He's kind of like Typhon, where he's a fucking, he touches the ground and it shakes. So here's where the distinction comes in, because a lot of people would believe that Typhon would be classified as a Titan, but he is not a Titan. The Titanomachy was Olympians versus Titans. Typhon's battle happens afterward in the general mythological sequence. This conflict is usually called the Typhonomachy, meaning essentially the battle against Typhon. So you have primordial beings, Titans, Olympians, and then Typhon, with some overlap and variations depending on which source you go through. He's also not a giant. The Olympians, Typhon is separate from the giants. Another one that he gets lumped in with a lot. His connection to Egypt. Later, Greek writers gave Typhon an interesting connection to Egypt. The gods flee there when Typhon attacks, and according to Apollodorus, they disguise themselves as animals. This was used. Oh yeah, we got that already. To explain. Who the fuck is Seth? Imagine having all these crazy names in like Greek mythology and shit, and like Egyptian mythology, and then there's just a dude named Seth. Seth is like an Egyptian deity who is like known as like he represents things as like deserts, storms, disorder, violence, foreign lands, dangerous forces. So basically, they say that like Typhon is like the Greek equivalent to Seth for Egyptian, Egyptian whatever. Pretty crazy shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty crazy shit, man. Fucking Typhon. What a big bitch. So yeah, Typhon is described as like a force of like destruction, kind of. So like it's not necessarily like good versus bad type of thing. You know what I mean? He wasn't technically a bad guy.
Exactly.
He was kind of just basically pretty much doing exactly what he was made to do, which was be destructive. Which is hence why they, a lot of like the old mythology like would connect him to like natural disasters and shit because they believed it was caused by him being trapped under the earth somewhere. Which is kind of a cool way to think about it when you like think about like earthquakes and shit. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool way to think about it. So as far as like Greek mythology is concerned, Typhon now is beneath Sicily somewhere, under Mount Etna. Basically, Mount Etna is a gigantic lid that is placed over the defeated Typhon, and that's where he still lies today, apparently.
Yo, imagine if we ever go to Greek.
They basically turned the volcano into a cosmic prison.
Imagine if we ever go out there and just visit that site.
We just like say his name 3 times and he like is summoned like Candyman.
Or Bloody Mary. Or like saying Beetlejuice. How many times you guys say Beetlejuice before he appears?
3 times. You guys watch? You guys were never really like into like Rick and Morty, right?
Yeah, I like Rick and Morty.
You guys watch? Are you guys watching the
Right.
the spin-off show, President Curtis?
How is it?
It's pretty funny actually. But it's funny because like in one of the new episodes, they have like Candyman in it, where like the president's like wife is like running for mayor or something, and she like one of her constituents is Candyman. She like turned him good. That's fucking hilarious.
Yo, I think because I started with Typhon, you had to start with the banger.
I mean, it's a great. If you're gonna go into Greek mythology, especially like Greek mythology, like monsters,
And God,
it's a great place to start. I mean, because Typhon was like literally.
the king of God,
Yeah.
the father of monsters.
That'd be like saying you want to start with like movie like monsters, and you don't start with like Godzilla or King Kong.
Who was
Because
it?
they're literally the king of monsters.
Yo,
Kings of monsters. Well, Godzilla, I guess, is technically the king of monsters.
he's the king of lizards.
No, he's the king of all monsters.
Man, I'll
he was
kick-
here before King Kong.
I'll kick him in his ass.
Yeah, okay. You wouldn't even get close.
Hell no.
He's like 40 feet tall.
I'll kick him right in the dick. Pow! What was that for?
You ever
Oh.
watch those movies? Godzilla vs. Kong movies? That's pretty good, actually. Not bad. Old.
Hey, do you watch? You used to watch Godzilla like on black and white, Yoda? I know, but they really do make
Old
the
man.
Japanese version of that.
You're so old.
Yo, Cheetah, I'm finally started watching Fast and Furious 9. Or Fast 9. Those movies get stupid.
Yeah, dude.
But they're stupid, but they're
Nobody's
kinda cool.
expecting good movies.
But they're stupid, but
You
they're
just go watch them because they're so fucking dumb. You want to see how far they're going to take it. I will happily be there for the final movie. I don't care.
What's the final movie? 11?
Yeah, I think so. If they ever even get it approved. It still hasn't even been approved yet.
Yeah, it has.
No, it hasn't.
This is in the works.
No studio has given them budget yet. It's in the works, but the studio hasn't given them budget.
Yo, just make the movie last one time for Paul Walker.
That's what Furious 8 was supposed to be for, was for Paul Walker, because he wanted to do that. Now they're just dragging it out, and they're like, oh, Paul wanted us to do 10 movies. He wanted it.
And Vin Diesel. It's all about the family.
It's about family, brother.
Yeah, I was watching the one. I was like, how is this possible?
Yeah, the one he's got like a brother and fucking literally no one's ever heard of until then.
Because you know why? Because they're trying to make up material.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. You guys ever watch fucking Studio Ghibli movies?
No, Stupid Bibbly?
The old Studio Ghibli movies?
Oh, Stupid Bibbly?
Like Spirited Away, My Neighbor Totoro, fucking Kiki's Delivery Service. You don't remember any of those? I used to grow up watching those shit too. My Neighbor Totoro was my favorite one as a kid. I used to love that movie. It's like the anime, like Japanese style movies from back in the day, the animated ones.
Oh yeah,
Super
those.
good.
With the big cat.
Yeah, dude, that was My Neighbor Totoro. I love that movie. This girl just reminded me because she said one of her favorite movies is Spirited Away. Spirited Away is a great one too. I haven't seen it in years.
Tom Holland want a Deadpool Spider-Man.
I would give Tom Holland literally anything he wanted. If I was married and he said, I want your wife, I'd be like, take her, Tom. You beautiful man.
Do you really think he's going to take a 5-year hiatus?
No. I mean, fucking way Marvel's going, it'll probably take 5 years to get another Spider-Man movie.
Well, he'd be back in either Doomsday or...
He's not in Doomsday.
We
He'll be
don't
back
know.
for Secret Wars, probably.
Secret Wars, because...
I mean, he better fucking be in Secret Wars. And Jean better come back, too, for Secret Wars. They're needed, bro.
But Secret Wars... When's Secret Wars happening? Is it a year
Next
after?
year. 2027. It's going to be just like Endgame, Infinity War and Endgame. Infinity War came out, and then you had to wait an entire year for Endgame. So that's what it's going to be like. Doomsday, and then a year later, Secret Wars.
I can't wait to watch that movie. Pretzel Bites.
Yeah, pretty excited. Probably not. They're the new Avengers now. They're going to be in Doomsday. That was just like their origin story movie. Now they're going to be like in the big team-up movies.
Yo, you gonna have X-Men versus Avengers.
Yoda don't know, man. He's old. He don't understand.
You heard what I said? It's like how the first
We're
Avengers.
probably, you know how many years we are away from getting an Avengers and X-Men movie? They still have to, now they have to bring in a whole new cast of X-Men and build up their story before we even get to something like that.
No, I'm talking about in Doomsday.
Oh.
You see them fight.
Yeah, it don't matter because none of those X-Men are going to survive because they're bringing in, they're casting new fucking actors. So this is all the final run for all these ones. Yeah, at some point probably. Who knows when, but dude, you know what I found out the other day? I didn't know this. You know the guys who made the Matrix are now girls?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I did.
The two brothers that made the Matrix, they're girls now. I didn't know that. I was reading it the other day. And I was like, they said something about like their last name or something. I was like, why does that last name sound familiar? And I looked it up and they made the Matrix and then they both transitioned not long after.
You watched King of the Hill? Season
No.
15?
I didn't watch King of the Hill when it was on originally. I never liked King of the Hill. It was never really my thing.
Damn it.
I was more like Beavis and Butthead.
That boy ain't right.
Oh, speaking
Are
of
you the two
Matrix,
boys that have been whacking off in my shed?
Nah, man.
Dog Star's coming to Buffalo.
Dog Stars?
Yeah.
The fuck is Dog Stars?
Dog Star.
The fuck is Dog Star?
Come on.
Corey B's coming back to Buffalo.
Who knows?
I literally have no idea who Dog Star is.
You know who Dog Star is?
No, Yoder, I don't know who Dog Star is. Are you going to tell me?
Yeah, tell us,
Or
Yoda.
you're going to make me guess?
Guess.
I don't want to guess. Tell me.
Keanu Reeves? Matrix?
Yeah, what about Keanu Reeves?
He's in a band.
I didn't know he was in a band.
Come on.
Yoder, I don't know everything about everybody, man.
You knew, right?
Kinda.
No, he didn't. Don't let him lie to you. He didn't fucking know either. You just don't want to get yelled at by you.
They're coming to Buffalo. Dog Star.
We're at Electric Room.
That I don't know.
Electric
One of those
Boogaloo?
giving tickets away.
I want to go to see I want to see a comedy show, dude. Can we go to a comedy show sometime?
I'm going to see Corey B.
No, I'd rather puncture my eyes out with forks than see that fucking guy. Guy's not funny at all. You could offer me free tickets to go see that guy, and I still wouldn't go.
Free.
You could offer me a free ticket plus $500, and I still wouldn't go.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
He's the most unfunny He's one of them fucking like dudes who started off on like TikTok. None of those guys are funny. They all do the same shit. Every TikTok influencer eventually either becomes a singer or a fucking stand-up comedian. Every single one of them.
I'm not too crazy about Kill Tony.
Yeah, shit's fucking corny. It was cool. It was funny when it first started, but now it's fucking everywhere. Like nobody cares anymore, dude. It's not that funny anymore.
Oh,
You know who's
shit.
the other guy I can't fucking stand? Everybody thinks he's hilarious. That Adam Ray. Fucking hate that guy. I think he's the most dude. He's so unfunny, and everybody thinks he's hilarious. I don't get it. I used to think I was just a hater, but like now I realize he just sucks.
Mm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
You know who's like my brand of comedy? Like Shane Gillis. I like Shane Gillis. He's
Yo, Tire Season 3's out.
I know. Tire season 3. They've already had 2 seasons. This is season 3.
Yeah, I know, Season 3.
You said season 2.
I said Season 3.
You said Tire season 2 was out.
I said Tire Season 3.
Yoda, what did he say?
3. Yoda.
Look at Yoda.
3.
You said
3. I
Okay,
said
Yoda.
3. I didn't say 2.
You said 2.
Deuces.
I didn't say 2. I said 3. Tries. Shane Gillis is funny.
I love Shane Gillis.
You ever heard that
You
one
know why I
line?
like Shane Gillis? Because he reminds me of me. He's just big, fat, and ugly, but he's funny. So
You know
like,
who I like?
Hey,
This is the oldness coming in. He was in waiting.
a
Yes.
lot of people in waiting.
Yo, she gonna hear something funny about Sean Gillis when he did one of his stand-ups. He said, "I'm borderline
Oh yeah, I know. He's talking about having a
Down
uncle
syndrome."
has Down syndrome. He said it nicked me.
Yeah, Nick B. I'm
Where you get
borderline.
that chi, Danny? I love that shit. Shit's funny, so. Kaylee. Goated comedians right now. Who you got? Wow.
Kevin Hart,
No. Garbage.
Burt Kreischer,
Overrated too now. He
Steve-O.
sucks now. Zero doesn't even do comedy. He just shows clips of him getting kicked in the nuts 100 times.
But anywho,
Remember when that guy shot up a syringe of his drug dealer's blood? You ever heard that story? Yeah. It was fucking wild. He used to do a lot of shit to get drugs, dude.
Dane Cook is what I was referring to.
Ugh. He used to be really funny. Now he's just fucking.
Well,
He's
his
creepy.
brother
He's a creep.
screwed him up.
Yeah, well, that don't disguise the fact that he's a fucking creep.
Why is he a creep?
He's got like a child bride. He was dating a girl when she was like 20, like 19 or some shit like that, and he was like fucking 40. That's
hey,
weird.
that's not
Wasn't
even a
that
coffee
like
right
half
there.
of Hollywood?
Yeah, but still, it's weird. I call it out on pretty much everybody that does that shit. I think it's weird for everybody. I don't care who you are. Hey, what's our time looking like?
We're good.
Oh, nice.
I know we're at 120 because I'm seeing your open mic for an hour 20.
Oh yeah, I do have to make an announcement. I know we talked about on here a couple times that our first types of reaction content was going to be for the Lantern show, but we put a kibosh on that because we kind of thought maybe it was kind of a bad idea. Because one, pretty much neither of us, the three of us, really know anything about Green Lantern, really. Plus, the first episode starts on Sunday, and I know Rich ain't gonna be trying to set us up for reaction content on Thursday right before the Emergathon. So we said, fuck it. But I think we're gonna try and find something that's either kind of newish or like something that's been out for a little bit, so that we can just, you know what I mean, we don't have to wait for it to drop. We can just like find something to watch and just jam out with our clam out. Too bad Yoder watched Heavyweights already. We could have watched it finally on the pod all together. Congratulations, Mr. Sims. You are the fattest boy at camp.
Isn't there heavyweights too?
No.
Why would there be? It ended perfectly.
Return?
Why would they do that? It ended perfectly.
Actually,
Plus, the kid who plays Gerald's like fucking jacked now. He's not fat anymore. It was just the childhood obesity. You know, I always thought his dad was Dr. Phil.
Yeah, me too.
I always thought that was Dr. Phil. Guy who plays his dad. I used to be like, damn, Dr. Phil's in a movie? Good for him. Good times.
And at this moment, Cheetah lost his fucking mind.
This is your brain on drugs.
Till next week.
Yeah, next time you see us, we'll be here for the Emergathon.
Say it, Chop.
Make sure
No,
you
wait,
check-
hold on. Next week, Mergathon. If you guys do tune into the live stream of the Mergathon, each pod is overlapping, I think, like 20 minutes with the pod before them and the pod after them. So I think, as it stands right now, we are going to be overlapping with Silver Screen Pod, which is a movie podcast. Pretty excited to sit down, chat movies with her. And then I think after us is Jai Unplugged, I believe, unless something changed. So make sure you check us out at the live stream. Intern Kaylee will be here. We'll be here.
Make sure you're here.
We're going to stay as long as possible. Probably not 24 hours, because I just like to keep telling Rich that. Just to hear him tell me, I don't fucking believe you.
Oh, we don't believe you.
We're going to stay longer than we did last time, though. At least I am. Even if I got to take an Uber home at 4 in the morning. I'm staying for a while. All right. That's it for me. That's all I got to say. Bye.
Thanks for all along, losers.